Hello everyone, and welcome to another brand new episode on my channel, Bohemian Book Club. Today I'll be talking about the book, She Said, written by Jodi Kantor and Twohey. Jodi Kantor is an American journalist. She is a New York Times correspondent, whose work has covered the workplace, technology, and gender. Twohey is an American journalist with the New York Times. She has written investigative reports for Reuters, the Chicago Tribune, and the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. In She Said, Jodi and Megan discuss their extensive investigation into the actions of Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein and his mistreatment of women. Through confidential interviews with leading actresses, former employees of Weinstein, and other sources, they uncovered numerous disturbing allegations that had long been kept hidden. They revealed a complex network of secretive settlements and non-disclosure agreements which had been used to conceal instances of sexual harassment and abuse. Using innovative reporting techniques, Kantor and Twohey played a crucial role in exposing this pattern. Following the tradition of impactful investigative journalism, She Said narrates a gripping tale about the importance of truth, featuring startling revelations from previously undisclosed sources. Additionally, Kantor and Twohey highlight the significant impact of their reporting on the #MeToo movement, while also sharing the inspiring stories of the women who bravely came forward to speak out for the sake of other women, future generations, and themselves. Before moving ahead, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Part 1. The First Phone Call. Harvey Weinstein is a well-known figure in Hollywood, recognized for his influential role as a producer, who helped launch the careers of various actors like Gwyneth Paltrow, Matt Damon, Michelle Williams, and Jennifer Lawrence. His success in the industry, marked by numerous Oscar wins, earned him the moniker Harvey, without needing to use his last name. However, alongside his fame and power, there have been persistent rumors about his mistreatment of women. Jodi Kantor, an experienced investigative journalist at the New York Times, with a focus on sexual harassment and abuse stories, embarked on an investigation into Weinstein's alleged misconduct. Drawing on her track record of catalyzing changes in corporate policies through her reporting, she began her probe with Rose McGowan, who had previously spoken out against sexual misconduct in Hollywood. McGowan shared her traumatic encounter with Weinstein in 1997, where he assaulted her during a business meeting at the Sundance Film Festival. Despite her initial reluctance, McGowan provided Kantor with her testimony, detailing how Weinstein coerced her into silence with a financial settlement after the assault. Recognizing the need for thorough investigation to avoid mere allegations, Kantor enlisted the expertise of Twohey, another seasoned investigative journalist, known for her work exposing sexual abuse allegations, including those against Donald Trump during his presidential campaign. Together, Kantor and Twohey strategized their approach to delve deeper into the allegations against Weinstein, joining forces upon Twohey's return from maternity leave. Part 2. Hollywood Secrets. Kantor and Twohey understood the importance of finding other women who had undergone similar experiences with Weinstein to corroborate Rose McGowan's account. However, gaining access to actresses within Hollywood proved challenging. Many of their attempts led to dead ends, with some contacts downplaying Weinstein's behavior as normal for the industry. Despite these obstacles, Kantor gradually reached out to notable figures in Hollywood, such as Marissa Tomei, Daryl Hannah, and Ashley Judd. While Tomei and Hannah expressed a willingness to speak out against industry abuse, they remained apprehensive about potential repercussions. Judd's interview, however, yielded significant information. She recounted her encounter with Weinstein in 1996, where he pressured her into a hotel meeting, initially greeting her wearing only a robe, and making inappropriate requests. Despite feeling trapped, Jodi managed to extricate herself from the situation with humor. It wasn't until later, after studying gender violence, that she felt compelled to speak out publicly against such abuse. Subsequently, Kantor contacted Lena Dunham and Jenny Connor, producer partners from the show Girls, who provided assistance by sharing contacts and leads, including Gwyneth Paltrow. Paltrow, like Jodi and McGowan, shared similar experiences of Weinstein's advances in hotel rooms, under the guise of promising roles. However, like many others, Paltrow hesitated to come forward due to fear of repercussions. With reluctance from potential witnesses to go on record due to Weinstein's influence, Kantor and Twohey realized they needed more than just testimonies to progress with their investigation. Part 3: How to Silence a Victim. In approximately July 2017, Fox and Bill O'Reilly faced investigations for sexual harassment and abuse, shedding light on a crucial aspect of exposing perpetrators: the use of settlements. Kantor and Twohey discovered the widespread practice of victims being coerced into signing settlements to maintain silence, even preventing them from connecting with other victims. Suspecting similar tactics in Weinstein's case, their suspicions were confirmed when Zelda Perkins agreed to share her story. Perkins joined Miramax in the mid-90s at 22 years old, demonstrating resilience against Weinstein's advances. Despite being bound by a settlement, she couldn't discuss her experience due to contractual obligations. Alongside her colleague, Rowena Chiu, Perkins faced aggressive advances from Weinstein at the Venice Film Festival, describing it as nearly reaching the point of assault. Despite seeking legal assistance, they were pressured by Miramax's legal team into settling and signing strict non-disclosure agreements. Although Perkins was willing to breach her contract, Kantor still had another crucial contact, Laura Madden, who wasn't bound by any settlement. Madden, like many others, encountered Weinstein's inappropriate behavior during a business meeting in his hotel room. Experiencing harassment short of assault, Madden felt trapped and vulnerable. Being free from a non-disclosure agreement, Madden felt compelled to speak out, recognizing the importance of breaking the silence surrounding Weinstein's actions. Part 4: Positive Reputation Management. Having money and influence akin to Weinstein allowed him to go to great lengths to conceal controversies, and he intended to leverage his power to do so. The executive editor of The Times, Dean Baquet, cautioned Kantor and Twohey to proceed with care, warning them of potential surveillance and encounters with decoys hired by Weinstein's team to gather information. Baquet's foresight proved accurate. Shortly after, Lanny Davis, a prominent attorney with ties to the Clintons, reached out to the reporters, seeking an off-the-record discussion about Weinstein. Intrigued by Davis's involvement, Kantor and Twohey, along with their editor Rebecca Corbett, agreed to meet. During the meeting, Davis spoke about Weinstein's desire to be interviewed, to showcase supposed changes in his attitude toward women and consent. The conversation then shifted to Rose McGowan, prompting Davis to disclose crucial details. He confirmed Weinstein's settlement with McGowan, validating her account. Moreover, he claimed Weinstein was aware of the investigation, but had no intention of interference, a blatant falsehood. In reality, Weinstein aimed to silence the women by any means necessary. Initially, Weinstein sought assistance from David Boies, whose ties to the producer through Miramax Books and his daughter's career fostered loyalty. Boies advised Weinstein to hire Black Cube, an Israeli firm employing former intelligence agents to thwart investigations. One agent, Anna, had already manipulated McGowan by befriending her to extract information. Anna attempted a similar tactic with Kantor but was unsuccessful due to Kantor's busy schedule. Furthermore, The reporters uncovered Weinstein's lawyer, Lisa Bloom, retained in December 2016. Bloom's responsibilities included advising Weinstein on handling McGowan, proposing articles to discredit her, drafting cease and desist letters, orchestrating favorable public appearances for Weinstein, and managing his online reputation to improve search results. Part 5: A Company's Complicity. By September 2017, Kantor and Twohey had amassed numerous witness testimonies and verified multiple accounts. However, they still lacked sufficient evidence to proceed. Without concrete proof and public confirmation, their investigation risked being dismissed as mere libel. Recognizing the need for more information, they turned their attention to Weinstein's business associates. One crucial figure they approached was Erwin Reiter, the Weinstein Company's executive vice president for accounting and financial reporting, who had been with the company since 1989. Over the years, Reiter had heard reports of sexual harassment from young women, and in 2014, he confronted Weinstein about these allegations, concerned about the potential financial repercussions for the company. During a late-night meeting at a Tribeca restaurant, Reiter cautiously shared information with Kantor, primarily focusing on recent behavior by Weinstein that jeopardized the company. Reiter played a vital role in connecting Kantor with numerous young women who had experienced abuse while working at the company. One particularly disturbing account was that of Sandeep Rehal, Weinstein's former personal assistant, who was subjected to various demeaning tasks, including sourcing and providing his erectile dysfunction medication, and cleaning his hotel rooms to remove evidence afterward. On September 19, 2017, Twohey met with Weinstein to discuss a fundraiser he had held in 2015 for an AIDS charity. Instead of allocating the raised $600,000 to the charity, Weinstein used the funds to pay investors for the Finding Neverland production. Kantor and Twohey later published this story, further exposing Weinstein's untrustworthiness. The journalists gained momentum in their investigation against Weinstein and secured an interview with his brother, Bob Weinstein. Although they had once been close, the strain caused by the Weinstein Company eventually led to tensions in their relationship. In 2015, Bob addressed his brother's behavior in a letter, urging him to seek treatment for sex addiction, and expressing disappointment over the shame brought upon their family and company. Despite these pleas, Harvey's behavior remained unchanged. To listen to more interesting summaries, please subscribe to my channel. Part 6: Who else is on the record? After completing their article, the two journalists presented 10 credible accounts of misconduct by Weinstein, spanning from 1990 to 2015. In addition to an on-the-record interview with Laura Madden, they possessed a memo written by Lauren O'Connor, a former junior executive, outlining numerous instances of Weinstein's abuse and subsequent cover-ups. On October 3, 2017, Kantor and Twohey prepared for a conference call with Weinstein to present their article and allow him an opportunity to respond to and refute the allegations. As they detailed the accusations and provided specifics, Weinstein became outraged and persistently demanded information about their sources. Corbett granted Weinstein 48 hours to respond, prompting the Times to await his reaction and see if he would potentially leak the story to another news outlet. Shortly after the conference call, Kantor received a significant phone call from Ashley Judd. Despite the numerous witnesses and victims of abuse, none had agreed to go on record, except for Madden. However, even Madden was reconsidering her decision, as she was scheduled for breast cancer surgery around the time of the story's publication, and anticipated needing support to navigate both the surgery and any backlash from Weinstein. Judd's call changed the dynamic, as she was willing to go on the record and recount her distressing encounter with Weinstein in a hotel room, which subsequently became the leading headline for their story. Part 7. There Will Be a Movement. The next day, Kantor and Twohey notified Weinstein that Judd would be included in the story, and urged him to provide an official response. Weinstein reacted furiously, accusing the reporters of deceit when they mentioned that Gwyneth Paltrow was not part of the article. Later that day, the journalists received an email from Harder, one of Weinstein's attorneys, containing an 18-page diatribe filled with verbal abuse. In the document, Harder vehemently denied all allegations and branded Weinstein's accusers as liars. He also criticized the Times, alleging that the paper had abandoned journalistic standards by giving Weinstein and his team insufficient time to respond. Harder concluded the email with a threat to sue the paper for millions of dollars in damages. Legal experts at the Times assured the journalists that the threats were groundless and would not hold up in court. Nonetheless, they extended the article deadline, informing Weinstein that the story would be published at 1 p.m. the following day, regardless of his response. While awaiting Weinstein's official reply, he leaked the story to other media outlets, such as The Hollywood Reporter and Variety. Although initially frustrated by the leak, the journalists soon realized its value when they began receiving calls and messages from more women willing to share their experiences with Weinstein. Delighted by these last-minute developments, the journalists obtained further corroborated facts and additional individuals willing to speak on the record, following the Hollywood Reporter leak. Finally, Weinstein issued his official statement, which was largely underwhelming. However, he did announce that he would be taking a leave of absence from the company. At 2:05 p.m., Bickett published the article online with the headline, "Harvey Weinstein Paid Off Sexual Harassment Accusers for Decades." Within hours, the story went viral, and the Times was inundated with stories from women eager to share their own experiences. Numerous former employees and actresses, including Rosanna Arquette, Angelina Jolie, and Gwyneth Paltrow, came forward, expressing their willingness to speak on the record. Meanwhile, the Weinstein Company was in turmoil, holding emergency meetings as Weinstein and his team attempted damage control. Despite Weinstein's efforts to convey remorse and promise behavioral changes, board members swiftly resigned. Even Weinstein's own brother warned him, "You are finished, Harvey," emphasizing the seriousness of the allegations. Part 8. The Beachside Dilemma. Following the initial article, more women continued to step forward, sharing their own accounts of sexual assault involving the once powerful Hollywood figure. Harvey Weinstein, once anonymous with power, now became associated with sexual assault, as he faced criminal charges for rape and other sexual misconduct. Consequently, he lost both his job and his reputation, marking the beginning of a new chapter. The article sparked a nationwide conversation about sexual harassment, with the emergence of the #MeToo movement, coined by civil rights activist Tarana Burke. This movement encouraged women to speak out about their experiences. Notably, celebrities began publicly naming their abusers, including comedian Louis C.K., Senator Al Franken, and chef Mario Bartoli. While the movement spurred change, it also gave rise to a debate on the boundaries of acceptable behavior, leaving society divided on defining sexual harassment. Kantor and Twohey awaited a story that could provide clarity amid this discourse. In early August, Kantor received a call from attorney Deborah Katz, who sought an investigation into a Supreme Court nominee accused of sexual assault. Katz's new client, psychology professor Christine Blasey Ford, alleged that she had been assaulted by two boys at a party in 1982, one of whom was Brett Kavanaugh, a prominent judge, and President Trump's Supreme Court nominee. The assault had lasting effects on Ford, leading to decades of anxiety, treated through therapy and marriage counseling. Initially hesitant to come forward, Ford decided to speak out upon learning of Kavanaugh's potential appointment to the Supreme Court. She wrote a detailed letter to Senator Dianne Feinstein, the senior Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, during that summer. However, Ford's case proved challenging to substantiate without key witnesses or additional victims stepping forward, resulting in a he said, she said scenario familiar to many victims. Despite a polygraph test and therapy notes supporting her account, uncertainties remained about the case's reception in court. Ultimately, on September 4, Ford contacted Feinstein to withdraw her testimony. Part 9, Can't guarantee I'll go to D.C. Following the withdrawal of her testimony, a media frenzy erupted regarding potential allegations against Kavanaugh. Subsequently, The Washington Post disclosed Ford's identity, thrusting her into the spotlight. Speculation arose about whether Ford would choose to testify or not, given the hearings scheduled to commence on September 27. Amidst this, Ford faced death threats following President Trump's disparaging tweets about her story. Additionally, her fear of flying added to the daunting prospect of traveling to D.C. amidst public scrutiny. Ultimately, Ford opted to testify. In a modest room on Capitol Hill, the nation watched as she recounted her harrowing experience with Kavanaugh in a detailed statement. Despite hours of rigorous questioning aimed at undermining her credibility, Ford remained composed, poised, and courteous throughout. Conversely, Kavanaugh appeared on edge, portraying himself as a victim of slanderous allegations, intended to tarnish his reputation. Despite Ford's compelling testimony, Kavanaugh was confirmed to the Supreme Court. This outcome led some to question whether the #Me Too movement had failed. However, Ford later remarked that she had always anticipated Kavanaugh's confirmation, and considered her victory to be the dignified sharing of her story with the world. Despite this setback, the #Me Too movement has made significant strides, empowering victims to speak out against sexual misconduct, and holding perpetrators accountable for their actions. Conclusion. Revealing instances of sexual abuse becomes particularly challenging when the perpetrator holds considerable power, as was the case with Harvey Weinstein, a prominent Hollywood producer. Unearthing the truth behind Weinstein's sexual misconduct presented formidable obstacles, with victims bound by confidentiality agreements and decades of testimony to sift through. Kantor and Twohey, however, proved to be ideal investigators for the task. Their diligent efforts, unwavering determination, and expertise in investigative journalism were instrumental in exposing one of Hollywood's most significant secrets. Recognizing that mere witness testimonies would not suffice, the journalists understood the necessity of concrete evidence and corroborated accounts to prompt societal action. Upon publishing their article, Kantor and Twohey were taken aback by the overwhelming response it garnered. Women began stepping forward at a rapid pace to share their own experiences, and the article catalyzed the emergence of the #Me Too movement. This movement provided women with a platform to recount their stories of sexual abuse and harassment, amplifying their voices and fostering solidarity among survivors. Thank you for watching this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe. Your comments, likes, and shares are highly appreciated. See you soon in our next episode.